isolation of Icarus, the Icarus outpost. For 8 months, it was my sanctuary, a steel dome swallowed by the deafening white of the Greenland ice. My team, Dimitri, Lynn, Ben, we were here for science, pure, brutal, beautiful science. Extracting ancient ice cores, reconstructing 3 million years of climate history. I thrived on the silence. I needed that distance from the noise of the world. It was November 3rd, the temperature well below zero. We were running a routine deep GPR scan, charting the geological chaos 5,000 feet down. I was watching the monitor with Dimitri. Just sediment, just rock. The usual noise of time itself. Nothing unexpected, nothing that hadn't been charted 1,000 times before. Then the noise stopped. At a depth representing over 3 million years, the chaos dissolved. On the screen, a clear, sharp, perfect signal appeared. A flawless cylinder, impossibly huge, lying horizontal. "Dimitri, freeze it," I ordered. My voice was a choked whisper. "That is not rock. That is not geology. That is a structure, an artifact." Confirming the unthinkable. We worked 4 hours to discredit it. Every seismic, every magnetic test confirmed the same terrifying truth. The object was massive, non-ferrous, and it maintained an internal temperature 10 degrees warmer than the surrounding ancient ice. It was stable. It was here, and it had been there for longer than any human ancestor had walked the earth. The quiet didn't last. The roar was deafening, a brute force breaking the Arctic peace. A massive, unmarked transport, painted matte black, dropped onto the ice. I watched the ramp slam down. No scientists, only soldiers, armed and ready for war. Leading them was Colonel Marcus Reynolds, all sharp angles and cold authority. He stepped into my sanctuary and shrunk the space. He ignored my hand. "Dr. Olson, I am seizing this facility under SAP 731 Delta. All data, all equipment are now under the jurisdiction of special projects." My scientific research was suddenly reduced to a federal crime scene. They were ruthlessly efficient. Every hard drive, every logbook, every piece of data related to the GPR scan was confiscated. I tried to argue, citing treaties. Reynolds just smiled that thin, cold smile. "Treaties don't apply, Doctor. You detected a non-terrestrial hazard. Our priority is containment." He knew exactly what I had found. They all did. I caught the eye of one of his sergeants, Briggs. A flicker of something passed between us, a shared awareness. While Reynolds was busy, Briggs moved close. "They knew it was here, Doctor. They didn't come because you found it. They came because you reported finding it. Keep silent. Follow the script. Learn to unsee what you saw." We were confined to the medical bay. Quarantine. Reynolds stripped us of our titles and gave us new orders. "Your new job, Doctor, is to provide geological context for the retrieval operation. You will analyze what we provide. You will draw no conclusions. You will only log what you were told to log." My life was suddenly about obedience. The question was, how long could I obey the impossible? They didn't use our precision drill. Reynolds brought in heavy, brutal geothermal machinery designed to blast through rock, not preserve ancient ice. The grinding sound vibrated through the dome, a constant reminder that science was over. It was about power now. They risked destroying 3 million years of climate history just to reach their prize faster. Reynolds used the downtime to try and break me. He showed me sanitized images, a perfectly cylindrical vessel labeled Experimental Reconnaissance Platform. He demanded my signature, my compliance. I refused. It is generating its own heat, Colonel. That defies all known terrestrial physics. I won't lie." He didn't punish me. He just waited. Patience was his weapon. The moment the drill bit breached the containment layer, it hit us. A silent, sickening EMP. Lights died, monitors went black, the air tasted metallic, heavy. Dmitri grabbed his head. Reynolds just called it in propulsion system shutdown, standard residual energy discharge. But his hand was shaking on the handset. He wasn't convincing anyone, least of all himself. "The object is breached." Then the tone began. Low, rhythmic, vibrating up through the ice and into the metal floor. It wasn't random static. 3 short pulses, a pause, 3 short pulses. Over and over. I strained to hear it, trying to identify the pattern. It felt deliberate. Dmitri, using what little shielded gear we had left, isolated the frequency. He risked everything to tell me, "It's not a beacon, Doctor. It's a structure. It's too complex to be interference. It's like a language, but from nowhere we know." The question was clear. Was the artifact a dead piece of wreckage, or was it waking up? And who, or what, was it talking to? The pulsing signal stopped as suddenly as it started. Then came the second wave. The contractors. Unmarked snowmobiles. No unit patches, only highly customized, non-standard equipment, like massive reflective shields. They were the cleanup crew, the ones who leave nothing behind. They were far more unnerving than the soldiers. The contractors used their thermal lances, melting the final layer of ice. The object was fully exposed, smooth, seamless, alien. As they worked, the immense heat began to scorch the surrounding ice, turning it into black, fused glass. It was beautiful and utterly horrifying. Then the object activated. Not from a port, not a seam. The entire 700-foot surface began to emit light, a soft, blinding, pure white luminescence. The contractors raised their shields and continued working, unharmed. "The heat should kill them," I muttered. "They must have active shielding." The thermal output was catastrophic, yet they stood in its presence. I looked at Reynolds' monitor. His composure was shattered. He was terrified. I heard him on the comms, his voice cracking. "Icarus to command, confirming unauthorized thermal anomaly. We need protocol Black Sun now." I didn't know what Black Sun was, but the fear in his voice confirmed everything I needed to know. This was not a prototype. The white light reached its peak, held, and then vanished instantly. Darkness returned. When the lights flickered back on, the object was enveloped in a shimmering, transparent containment field. The contractors didn't waste a second. They hoisted the massive artifact onto a transport sled, covering it with a black tarp. They collected every shard of fused glass. They weren't just retrieving the object, they were erasing the scene. Reynolds was back to normal, a machine of cold authority. He put the non-disclosure agreement on the table. "Gentlemen, Doctor, you saw the recovery of the Silvermyth platform. All data points were consistent with a classified test." He wanted my name on his lie. "You have a choice," he said, his eyes drilling into mine. "Sign this, go back to your lives, and survive. Or you push for answers you are not authorized to receive, and you lose everything. This is about service, not curiosity." I was a scientist, dedicated to truth, but I was also a realist. I signed. We all did. They separated us immediately, standard protocol. Dmitri to Alaska, Lynn to a forced sabbatical. They quarantined the truth by quarantining the witnesses. We couldn't compare notes, couldn't confirm the impossibility. The silence was the real weapon. Years later, I still study magnetic anomalies. My career survived, intact, But sometimes, late at night, I feel that metallic pressure in my chest. My watch jumps forward 2 minutes. Tiny glitches, tiny reminders. The cost of silence is the internal knowledge that you chose survival over truth. The final question remains. Reynolds' sanitized report claimed the object's origins were complicated. But I know what I saw. I never searched for answers, never broke the silence, but I still hear the voice of Reynolds in my head. Define ours, Captain. If it wasn't built by any known government, and it defied all terrestrial science, whose was it? The desert keeps its secrets, but the deep ice keeps them longer.